At the wedding reception, my fiancée slipped a ring onto her childhood best friend's finger in front of everyone. A hush fell over the room for a full second. She held the microphone. Her voice soft and warm. When we were kids playing house. I promised I'd marry you. Consider this ring making good on that promise. Her friend's eyes glistened. Slowly, he held out his hand. She bowed her head and pushed the ring past his knuckle. The wedding MC scrambled to smooth things over. It's just sibling affection. Groom didn't take it to heart. Murmurs rippled through the crowd instantly. But neither of them paid the room any mind. She looked up at him, eyes crinkling with a smile. And he reached out to ruffle her hair. I stood 2 feet away, feeling like a total fool. After a long moment, she finally turned around. She stepped in front of me and held out her hand. Ethan Hayes. Will you marry me? I took a step back. No. My fiancée froze where she stood. She stared up at me. The ring box still open in her hand. The lights caught the diamond. And it glinted so bright it hurt to look at. She looked like she hadn't heard me right. Her lips parted twice before she managed to get the words out. What did you say? I unbuttoned my suit jacket and stepped back another 2 paces. I said no. You two make a better couple. The ring's already on his finger. The officiant's right here. And all your friends and family are in the crowd. Why don't I go sit down and enjoy the banquet? And you two carry on. The smile dropped right off the childhood friend's face. He fumbled to yank the ring off his finger, hurrying over toward me as he did. It's not what you think. It's just something from when we were kids. I held up a hand, cutting him off. Save it. My fiancée shot to her feet. Gold confetti stuck to her knees. And reached for my hand. I stepped out of her reach. Ethan. Listen to me. It was just a joke. He's like a little brother to me. I've known him since he was tiny. Then marry him. I cut her off. She didn't look at me. Instead, she glanced over at her friend beside her. Her gaze lingering on his face for a beat. My mom's face went dark with rage. She marched up to the stage in 3 quick steps, jabbing a finger right in my fiancé's face. Lila Morgan. Do you think our family has no one to stand up for him? Lila turned quickly. Head bowed. Ma'am. That's really not it. Don't call me ma'am. My dad followed right behind her. Our son stood up here today, in front of 600 guests. And you humiliated him like this. What makes you think you get to address us politely at all? Lila's mother couldn't sit still any longer in the audience. She hiked up her dress skirt and hurried up to the stage, face flushed bright red, and grabbed my mom's arm. Please. Just hear me out. It was just a silly joke between the kids. Jake and Lila grew up together. They're like siblings. There's absolutely nothing else to it. My mom wrenched her arm free. Siblings don't exchange rings at a wedding. Should we just hand over the premarital home to him too while we're at it? Mrs. Morgan's face fell instantly. She pressed her lips into a tight line, stepping in front of the stage and lowering her voice. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? It was just a little hiccup in the ceremony. The MC already smoothed it over. You can smooth it over all you want. I can't. My mom grabbed my wrist so tight I could feel it in my bones. Let's go. My dad stepped behind us, shoving aside the groomsmen who tried to block our way off the stage. We'd barely reached the edge of the stage when Lila's father stepped out in front of us. Out of nowhere. If you're calling off the wedding, fine. But you owe us the dowry back. At those words, every relative in the crowd went dead silent. Lila's cousin was filming the whole thing on his phone, holding it so close it was practically in our faces. My dad let go of my hand and stepped forward. Move. Mr. Morgan didn't budge. Am I not being clear enough? The wedding's off. So you give us the money back. Nobody leaves here today until you do. I looked over at my fiancée. She stood a few feet away, still clutching the diamond ring, her face tight with panic. But what came out of her mouth was, Ethan, don't do this. Can't we talk this through? It's just a tiny fight. You call this a tiny fight? I stared at her. She stared back, swallowed hard, and actually nodded. Her childhood friend caught up from behind then, clutching the ring he'd just torn off his finger, and held it out to me. Ethan. I took it off. It was really just a dumb joke from when we were kids. If it bothers you that much, I won't even see her anymore. Someone in the crowd muttered. He already apologized. Isn't that enough? Mrs. Morgan latched onto the comment. Exactly. It was just putting on a ring. Our families have been close forever. We were always gonna set those two up anyway. Your son didn't have to be part of this at all. She cut herself off halfway through. Sharp. But I heard every word. So did my mom. What did you just say? Mrs. Morgan lifted her chin, dropping all pretense. I said it. So what? Lila and Jake grew up together. Our families always agreed they'd end up together. If your son hadn't butted in out of nowhere, then you should have said something sooner. I flung the bouquet in my hand straight at the floor. Petals scattered everywhere. Red and white. Rolling across the stage. If you'd told me earlier, I wouldn't have showed up to play second fiddle today. Lila panicked, yanking her mom behind her and yelling at me. Ethan. She's just angry and talking nonsense. Don't listen to her. I didn't look at her. I looked at her mother. Ma'am. You meant what you just said, didn't you? She turned her face away and said nothing. Lila's cousin muttered under his breath behind her. Total drama queen. My dad glanced back at him, then turned around and pulled his phone slowly from the inner pocket of his suit jacket. The 20,000 dowry. I can transfer it back to you right now. Mr. Morgan's eyes lit up. He pulled out his phone and waited. Since we're returning the dowry, you can give back the pre-wedding financial gift we gave you too. My dad's voice wasn't loud, but the whole banquet hall went so quiet you could hear the air conditioning hum. The smile froze on Mr. Morgan's face. Pre-wedding what? My mom dabbed at the corner of her eye and gave a cold laugh. Don't play dumb. My son gave her a 30,000 car and 50,000 in cash. You do the math on how much that adds up to. Mrs. Morgan's face went white instantly. My dad lifted his phone again. Either you give the money back, or I call 911 right now. Your choice. Mr. Morgan snapped, veins popping out in his neck. What do you mean? Call the cops. Explain yourself. Fraud. When my dad said that word, his face was as stern as a judge's. Lila panicked, rushing between the two families. Please. This doesn't have to go that far. Let me and Ethan talk this out. This is between us. There's nothing left to talk about. I pulled the bow tie off my neck and pressed it into her hand. You wanted to make good on that ring promise to him. I'm getting out of your way. Mrs. Morgan tugged on Lila's sleeve from behind. Fine. Forget it. We don't want the dowry back. Let's just leave it at that. My mom laughed, sharp and angry. Oh. So it's whatever you say goes. If you don't return the pre-wedding gift, we are calling the police. Mr. Morgan could tell we weren't bluffing, and his tone softened halfway. Don't call the cops. Okay. Let's talk this through. We never said we wouldn't give it back. Then write a promissory note. Grabbed a pen from one of the groomsmen, snatched a and slapped it down hard on the nearest circle. Morgan's face turned green. Lila stepped up to the table, shaking so bad she could barely hold it, and scrawled the promissory note across the red paper. Mr. Morgan's face went purple. He tried to stop her, but Lila blocked him. When she finished, she looked up at me. Ethan. I wrote it. Can you just? I didn't promise you anything. I turned and walked away. I walked right out the hotel doors, leaving the whole mess behind me. My mom patted my back, her voice shaking badly. Come on. Let's get something to eat. You haven't had a bite since this morning. We went to a clam chowder shop right across the street from the hotel. My mom ordered 3 bowls of soup and an order of garlic breadsticks. My dad didn't touch his food the whole time. He just sat there watching me. He didn't speak until I set my bowl down. When you're done, we'll head to the premarital home. Get your things out first. My mom wiped her mouth with a napkin, and her eyes welled up again halfway through. My dad pushed her bowl of soup closer to her. Eat first. You need strength to move all that stuff. I set my spoon down and looked at both of them. Mom. Dad. I'm sorry. I embarrassed you both today. Embarrassed us. Nonsense. My dad set his chopsticks down. You don't owe anyone an apology. The Morgan family does. My mom wiped her tears and forced a small smile. He's right. You did the right thing. If you'd put up with that in front of everyone, you'd never hear the end of it from their family for the rest of your life. I didn't say anything else. I finished the last few sips of my soup and paid the bill. The premarital home was in a new development in Uptown. Lila's family had put down the down payment. It was in her name. But both our families split the cost of renovations and furniture. All my clothes were there. All my official documents. Plus the heirloom jewelry set my mom had given Lila. I had to get all of it back. We hailed a cab and headed for the apartment. In the car, my mom kept talking about the jewelry set, how her grandmother had passed it down to her. And she'd passed it down to me. She said if we lost it, she'd never forgive herself. My dad sat in the front seat. Silent the whole ride. His knuckles white where he gripped his phone. In the elevator, my mom tried to calm herself down, saying we shouldn't fight with the Morgans. Just grab our stuff and leave. I nodded. But when we got to the door, I pressed my finger to the lock. And nothing happened. I tried again. Still nothing. The fingerprint lock glowed red and buzzed twice. I froze for a second. Then tried the passcode. My birthday. Wrong. Lila's birthday. Wrong. Our anniversary. Still wrong. My dad frowned and pulled out his phone to call Lila. It rang twice. Then went dead. He called again. It went straight to voicemail. My mom panicked. Pounding hard on the door. Lila. Lila. Open the door. We heard movement from inside. Footsteps. Slippers on hardwood. Coming closer. The door swung open. It wasn't Lila who answered. It was her mom. Mrs. Morgan was in loungewear. When she saw us, she didn't look surprised at all. She almost looked amused. Like she'd been waiting for us to show up. Well, look who's here. My mom pushed toward the door. My son's things are inside. Let us in to get them. Mrs. Morgan didn't step aside. If anything, she pulled the door tighter, blocking the entrance with her whole body. What things? Don't play dumb. His clothes. His documents, all of it's in there. Mrs. Morgan gave a small, dry laugh. Are they even his things? My mom froze. I stood back. And it clicked all at once. They'd changed the passcode. The Morgans had already moved in. They'd planned this ahead of time. My dad's voice came from behind me. What's that supposed to mean? Mrs. Morgan crossed her arms, filling the entire doorway. Nothing. Just making things clear. Your son called off the wedding out of nowhere. Humiliated our family in front of everyone today. And now you think you can just waltz in and take your things? Sure you can. Just leave us the pre-wedding gift first. My mom's face went white. Are you even listening to yourself? That's our money. Your dowry. Mrs. Morgan laughed. Who was that gift for? It was for my daughter's wedding. If the wedding's off, that money stays to cover our losses. My dad shoved the door open hard. Move. Mrs. Morgan stumbled back a step. But she surged forward again right away, raising her voice. You pushed me. What? You gonna hit me now? She yelled over her shoulder into the apartment. Honey. Get out here. They're getting violent. Mr. Morgan walked out from the living room in his pajamas, holding a mug of tea. He sauntered over and stood behind his wife. I told you. Agree to leave the pre-wedding gift with us. And you can take your things. His eyes landed on me, raking up and down. Ethan. Let me be honest with you. After the stunt your family pulled at the wedding today, Lila's reputation is ruined. What are all our friends and family gonna think of her? You can call off the wedding if you want. But you don't get to ruin her like this. I stared at him and said nothing. He added. No pre-wedding gift. No things. Simple as that. My dad pointed a finger at them. This is unlawful possession of personal property. Unlawful possession. Mr. Morgan blew on his tea. This is a premarital home. Everything in here was bought by both families. Who's to say what's yours and what's ours? My mom was shaking with rage. She pulled out her phone to call 911. Before she could dial, Lila walked out of the bedroom. She stepped up to the door, her gaze skipping right past my parents and landing straight on me. Ethan, when you said all that on stage today, did you even stop to think about how I'd feel? Jake's just a friend I grew up with. There's nothing between us. You told me you wouldn't marry me in front of 600 people. How am I supposed to face my parents? How am I supposed to face everyone we know? You embarrassed our family today. Do you even realize that? My mom couldn't take it anymore. We embarrassed you. What about you putting a ring on your little friend at the wedding? Wasn't that embarrassing? Lila frowned. Ma'am. It was just a silly game from when we were kids. He was so upset. Was I supposed to just leave him hanging up there? And what about Ethan? Why didn't you comfort him? My mom shot back. Lila glanced at me. Ethan looked fine. I laughed out loud. Mrs. Morgan chimed in from the side. All right. Enough fighting. We all know the wedding's off. Think long and hard about the pre-wedding gift. And come back when you've made up your mind. She moved to shut the door. My dad stuck his foot in the threshold to hold it open. If you don't let my son get his documents today, I'm taking you to court. Mr. Morgan set down his tea and spoke slowly. Sue us then. A court case'll take 2-3 years. Your son won't get those documents back the whole time. He's starting a new job soon. His ID. His diploma, all of it's in there. Let's see who can wait longer. I stood in the doorway, staring at this whole family. They'd planned all of this. It had barely been 2 hours since the wedding fell apart, and they'd already changed the locks, held our things hostage, and lined up all their excuses. This wasn't a Spuro-Thement thing. This whole family had sat down and planned it out. My mom's eyes were red-rimmed, her voice tight with tears. How can you do this? What do you even want with his documents? Mrs. Morgan turned her face away. It's not like we begged him to call off the wedding. He did that all on his own. That gift was for the wedding. If the wedding didn't happen, the money stays. Simple. Besides, you humiliated my daughter on stage today. She's already lost all face. Is it really so bad to ask for a little compensation? My dad was so angry he couldn't speak, his hand shaking at his side. I put my hand on his arm. Dad, don't argue with them. The door slammed shut right in front of me. The hallway went quiet. All you could hear was the 3 of us breathing. My mom leaned against the wall, her lips pale as paper. My dad was still half pushed toward the door, arm held out in the air, before he slowly lowered it. Let's go, I said. My dad turned to look at me. We're just leaving our things. We'll get them back. Just not today. I took both his and my mom's hands and led them toward the elevator. My mom's hand was ice cold, gripping mine so tight my knuckles ached. Once we were outside the building, my dad stood on the sidewalk and took a deep breath. Let's go home first, he said. Our house was in an old South Side neighborhood, on the 6th floor. No elevator. My mom held onto the handrail climbing the stairs, stopping to catch her breath on every landing. She could usually climb the whole thing in one go. Then I remembered. She was wearing brand new 2-inch heels, and she'd been standing in them all morning. Once we got inside, she kicked off her shoes, walked barefoot into the living room, and sat straight as a pin on the couch. My dad went to the kitchen, poured her a glass of warm water, set it on the coffee table in front of her, and walked out to the balcony without a word, sliding the door shut tight behind him. I sat down next to my mom. A little while later, my dad pushed the balcony door open, a cigarette between his fingers. He'd quit 7 years ago. I had no idea where he'd found it. My mom saw the cigarette, paused for a second, and said nothing. He took a drag and coughed so hard he could barely breathe. When he stopped, he put it out in the ashtray and sat down in a chair at the dining table, half a living room away from me. I'll call a lawyer tomorrow, he said. Call one this afternoon, I said. My mom looked up, wiping her tears. He's right. This afternoon. We can't let them walk all over us like this. I pulled out my phone. My notifications were blowing up. The groomsmen group chat was the worst. Nanette Neen unread messages. I opened it. Ethan. That was iconic. Dude. Who even is that friend of hers? Did Lila's mom actually say they were always gonna set those 2 up? For real. Bro. When you threw that bouquet, I almost stood up and cheered. But for real. What about your stuff? All your documents are still there, right? I typed back. Working on it. The chat went quiet for 3 seconds, then blew up all over again. I know a lawyer. My cousin does civil litigation. Want me to ask him? My sister works at the local precinct. Should we file a police report first? You should probably report your documents lost. You got your ID and bank card on you. I patted the suit bag I'd brought with me. Phone. Driver's license. 1 bank card, all there. I'll report the documents lost tomorrow. Let's lock in the lawyer today. I replied. After that, I closed the chat, opened my contacts, and scrolled down to the Ms. Lila Morgan. I tapped her name. Her latest Instagram post was from yesterday. A 9-photo grid. The middle picture was a shot of our wedding invitations. The caption read, "Finally. The day we've been waiting for." Over 100 likes. All the comments full of well wishes. And she'd replied to every single one with a thank you. The newest comment was from 3 minutes ago. From an account I didn't recognize. Heard the wedding went sideways. She hadn't replied yet. I backed out and opened our text thread. Her last message was from 6 that morning. "Baby. You're marrying me today. I'm too excited to sleep." I never replied. I scrolled up through our texts. I went back 3 months. March 17th. 9:23 p.m. She'd sent a photo taken at a restaurant. 2 glasses of red wine on the table. And only a pair of hands visible across from her. A thin silver ring sat on the ring finger of those hands. Her text with it, "Grabbing dinner with Jake. Haven't seen him in forever." I'd replied, "Got it. Have fun." Further down. May 11, 2 p.m. She'd sent a voice note. The background was loud. Like a bar. And a guy's voice said off to the side, "Lila. You drink any more and you won't make it home." I'd transcribed it back then. "Ethan. I'm out with my team for a work event. Had too much to drink. Crashing at a friend's place tonight." I'd replied, "Got it. Be safe." I'd been pulling all-nighters finishing a project back then. I never thought twice about it. Now, scrolling back through every message, I knew exactly who that friend was. I didn't delete the chat. I took screenshots, one by one, and saved them to my photo album. Then I closed the app and texted a friend who worked in media. "Were you at the wedding today?" She texted back instantly, "Yeah. Filmed the whole thing. Can you send me the footage?" She sent an okay emoji. And 3 minutes later dropped a cloud drive link. I opened it. The video started from the beginning. On screen. I stood on stage. My suit hanging straight and sharp. The MC was reading the vows. And Lila stood across from me with the mic. Smiling soft and warm. Then the music cut off abruptly. It wasn't the song we'd picked. It was some soft instrumental I'd never heard before. She pulled a ring box out of her pocket and turned toward the side of the stage. The camera panned with her. Her childhood friend was in the NT row. Surrounded by groomsmen. Hand over his mouth. Eyes wide. Lila picked up the mic and said those words. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. He held out his hand. She slid the ring onto his finger. The MC tried to smooth it over. Every single person in the room turned to look at me. I stood there on stage. Bouquet still in my hand. A half smile still frozen on my face that I hadn't had time to drop. Then that smile faded. Slow and steady. 3 years together. And I'd put up with everything. I put up with her bringing Jake up every time we fought. I put up with her FaceTiming him every time she was drunk. I even put up with her bringing him along when she went home to visit family graves on Memorial Day. She said he was like a little brother she'd grown up with. I said okay. She said both our parents knew each other. That they were basically family. I said okay. She said stop being so petty. He doesn't have any friends out here. What's wrong with me looking out for him a little? I said okay. I said okay to everything. Because I thought loving someone meant being reasonable. Saving face for them. Being the mature boyfriend in front of her family and friends. I thought being reasonable would earn me care in return. What I got instead was her putting a ring on another man in front of 600 people at our wedding. I closed the video and texted my media friend back. "Can I post T's video?" She sent 3 exclamation points back. "You're gonna post it?" "Yeah. Think this through. Once it's out there. It's not just between your 2 families. Everyone we know will see it." "I know." She was quiet for a minute. Then replied, "I've got your back if this blows up." I edited the footage. Cutting out the normal wedding opening at the start. I kept only the 5 minutes from when the music changed to when I threw the bouquet on the floor. When I was done. I didn't post it right away. Because there was a knock at the door. My mom answered. Standing there was Ryan Cole. The most outspoken guy in the groomsmen group. My college roommate. Who I'd stayed close with after graduation. He'd worn a champagne suit to the wedding. And he'd yelled at the Morgans on stage on my behalf. He walked in carrying 2 big plastic bags, one full of fruit, one full of takeout. Hey, ma'am. Sir. I figured you guys barely ate today. Brought some soup and sides over. He opened the containers one by one and set them out on our dining table. My mom thanked him, her eyes welling up again. Ryan sat her down in a chair, then pulled me off the couch, pressing a bowl of soup into each of our hands. Eat. You need strength to go after that mess of a woman. I held the bowl and took a sip. Chicken noodle soup. Hot. Seasoned just right. By the time I drunk most of it, I realized I was so hungry my stomach was cramping. Ryan sat across from me, watching me eat. I added that lawyer on social. Sent his info over. You two should talk. He slid a business card across the table. Liam Carter. Carter Associates Law Firm. 7 years of practice. Specialized in family and marriage disputes. I sent a friend request. Note reading, referred by Ryan Cole. Wedding dispute. He accepted 5 seconds later. Liam sent a message. Ryan filled me in on the basics. When can we talk? I checked the time. 3:30 p.m. Anytime works. Phone call okay? Sure. He called right away. Male voice. Mid-30s. Tone even. Calm and unrushed. Walk me through what happened. I told him everything. From the wedding stage to the apartment door. When I finished, there was a few seconds of silence on the other end. Then he said, "Do you have proof of all this?" I opened the cloud drive. 60 gigabytes of video. Clips every few minutes. The entire wedding start to finish. Ryan had filmed all of it. I have video. Text messages. Yep. List of items in the apartment. Photos. I took them during renovations. His voice got more confident. Good. First thing, their actions at the wedding damaged your reputation in public. That's civil tort. You can pursue damages for emotional distress. Second, holding your personal property is unlawful possession. In severe cases, it can carry criminal charges. Third, the pre-wedding gift. Your dad offered to return the dowry in exchange for the gift, and they refused, then demanded you forfeit the gift entirely to get your things back. That's extortion. Hearing those 3 terms, I felt that heavy weight I'd carried all day finally crack open a little. What do we do next? First, file a police report. Make a list of all your property and personal items. Get the texts and video notarized for evidence preservation. Then we send a demand letter. I hung up, ran through Liam's steps in my head, then looked up. Ryan was talking to my mom. I don't know what he said, but she actually smiled, faint, forced, but a smile all the same. My dad sat nearby on a call, talking to someone I didn't know. I walked over. When he hung up, I asked, "Dad, who was that?" "My brother." My dad set down his phone. "He knows some people back home. If the Morgans try to stir up trouble over here, we'll be ready." My throat tightened all of a sudden. They'd thought of everything from me, even the worst-case scenario. "Dad, I need to file a police report," I said. He looked at me and nodded. "Report unlawful possession. Then have the lawyer send them a demand letter. If that doesn't work, we sue." He pushed the ashtray aside. "Come on. I'll go with you." The first place we went was the local police precinct for our neighborhood. The officer on duty was a woman in her 40s. She listened to my whole story, frowning, and typed away at her computer for a long time. "What's the total value of the items? Replacing the documents will cost a few $100. The heirloom jewelry was passed down from my mom. It has sentimental value. The pre-wedding gift was $50,000, plus a $30,000 car. You haven't given them the gift yet." She looked up at me. "No. But they're holding my documents hostage. They said I only get them back if I forfeit the pre-wedding gift." She stopped typing, looking at me like I'd just told her something unbelievable. People actually do that. She printed out the police report form, had me sign and fingerprint it, then handed me the receipt. "Keep this. If you need officers dispatched or security footage pulled later, bring this with you." "Thank you." She waved me off. "You did the right thing. Kid, you don't marry someone like that." When we left the precinct, dusk was settling in, and a row of streetlights had turned on. My dad stood outside and smoked his second cigarette. The end glowed twice in the dark. "You hungry?" he asked. Nah. The soup Ryan brought filled me up. He put out the cigarette and tossed the butt in a nearby trash can. Then let's head to the apartment. I froze for a second. They won't open the door if we go now. Then we wait until they do. He tapped his phone. I had building management check the security cams. The whole family's in there right now. I told the lawyer to meet us there in an hour. I glanced back at the blue precinct sign behind me. Okay. By the time we got to the building, it was fully dark out. We stood in front of the door. My dad rang the bell. No answer. He knocked. Nothing. He pressed his ear to the door. You could hear the TV inside. Loud and lively. Some show or other. Someone's home, he said. Straightening up. He called building management. This is tenant David Hayes. There's a personal dispute at the unit across from mine. I need someone to come open the door to assist police with the incident. They said something on the other end. He grunted a few times and hung up. Less than 5 minutes later, the property manager and head of security showed up. The property manager was a chubby middle-aged man in an ill-fitting uniform. Looking unhappy. Mr. Hayes, we can't just open someone's private residence like that. Private residence. My dad stared at him. This is my son's premarital home. It's in Lila Morgan's name. But our family paid for half the things inside. What reason do you have to keep us out? The head of security rubbed his hands together beside him, looking like he didn't want to take sides. Just as we were at a standstill, the elevator doors opened again. Liam walked out carrying a briefcase. His eyes scanned the group from behind his glasses. And he pulled a document out of his bag. I'm Ethan Hayes' legal counsel. This is my bar license and power of attorney. He handed the papers to the property manager. My client filed a police report this afternoon. Under state law, unlawful detention of personal property is a criminal offense. You are obligated to assist. The property manager went pale. He flipped through the papers over and over, then handed them back to Liam and stepped back. We still can't force open someone's door. Why don't you call the police? Have a patrol officer handle it. Liam didn't argue. He pulled out his phone and dialed 911. We didn't wait long for the patrol officers, maybe 20 minutes tops. The peephole on Lila's door stayed dark the whole time. She'd covered it from the inside. 2 officers showed up, a young guy and a veteran woman in her early 40s. They looked at my police report, then at Liam's demand letter, and exchanged a glance. The veteran officer stepped up to the door and knocked 3 times. Police. Open up. We need to speak with you about an ongoing incident. The TV inside went silent. After a long quiet, the door opened. Mr. Morgan answered. Mrs. Morgan behind him. And Lila behind her. Their dining table was set with 4 dishes and a soup. All steaming. They'd been in the middle of dinner. I glanced past them into the apartment. 2 pairs of men's slippers sat by the couch, and a blue insulated tumbler rested on the coffee table. Lila's face fell the second she saw everyone lined up outside. Ethan, you called the cops. I ignored her, holding up the police report receipt. I'm here for my things. Mrs. Morgan tried to surge forward, but the veteran officer stopped her with a single look. This gentleman is here to collect his personal documents and belongings. That's his legal right. You have no authority to keep them from him. Mr. Morgan's face was dark. Officer, there's context to this. Context. The officer cut him off. Holding someone's official documents hostage. At best it's a civil dispute. At worst it's theft. You decide how you want to play this. Mr. Morgan went quiet. Lila stepped back half a pace, eyes darting away. Too nervous to look at me. The bedroom door was half open. I pushed it open. My photo was still on the nightstand. Next to the frame sat a bottle of cologne I didn't recognize. It wasn't mine. I pulled open the closet door. All my clothes were crammed into storage bins at the bottom. Wrinkled and crushed. Like someone had ripped them off hangers and balled them up to throw inside. Hanging in the closet were several men's jackets I'd never seen before. Tags still attached. I knelt down, opened the bins, and sorted through my things one by one. My diploma. Official identity documents. Graduation photo all tucked under a winter coat. The corners of the covers bent and creased. The mahogany jewelry box my mom had given me used to be in the bottom drawer of the nightstand. It wasn't there anymore. I pulled out all 3 drawers. Turned everything inside out. Nothing. My stomach dropped. Mom. I yelled into the living room. Where'd you put the jewelry set? My mom hurried into the bedroom. Knelt down to look through the drawers too. And her face got darker and darker. She turned and stormed out into the hallway, staring down all three Morgans. Where's my heirloom jewelry? The full set bracelet, necklace, earrings, ring. In that mahogany box. Who took it? Mrs. Morgan looked away. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know. My mom's voice went sharp. Almost unrecognizable. My son put it there himself when he moved in. You're telling me you don't know where it is? The veteran officer stood nearby, her gaze settling on Lila. Tell the truth, miss. Lila swallowed hard, and finally forced out a few words. I don't know. Maybe my mom put it somewhere. Mrs. Morgan started to speak, but the officer held up a hand to stop her, keeping her eyes on Lila. Tell your mom to give it back. Lila walked over to her mom and whispered something. Mrs. Morgan glared at her, hesitated for a long time, then turned and went into the master bedroom. She pulled the mahogany box out of a storage bag on the top shelf of the closet. I took it and opened it. Empty. Round indentations marked the velvet lining. But nothing was inside. Where is it? I stared at her. She lifted her chin defiantly. I put it somewhere safe. Forgot where. The officer stepped forward. Ma'am. I'm gonna tell you one last time. You hand it over now. We handle this as a simple dispute. You don't. That's theft. And given the value, the consequences are on you. You decide. Mrs. Morgan's lips trembled. She turned and went back into the bedroom. She was gone a lot longer this time. When she came back, she was clutching a clear plastic grocery bag. Something clinking around inside. She held the bag out to me. I took it and looked inside. The whole jewelry set was crumpled into a ball inside. The necklace was knotted tight. The ring bent out of shape. And one of the earrings was missing its backing. When my mom saw the state of the set, she swayed where she stood. My dad caught her. His mouth pressed into a hard, thin line. I tied the bag shut, held it close, and turned to pack up the rest of my things. Clothes, books, documents, photo frames, gifts from friends, my work hard drive. I packed every last thing into boxes. Lila stood in the doorway. She opened her mouth several times, and finally said, Ethan, do you really have to do this? I didn't look up. Move. You're blocking the light. When I was done, there were 5 big boxes total. My dad borrowed a cart from security and stacked them high. On my way out, I glanced back at the apartment. A giant wedding photo hung on the living room wall. The red background shot Lila had loved so much. She was standing behind me, arms wrapped around my waist, chin resting on my shoulder, smiling bright. I looked away and walked out without looking back. Once I was in the car, I hit post on that 5-minute video. 10 minutes in, 3,000 retweets. 30 minutes, 100,000 views. That night, a hashtag popped up at the bottom of the trending list. Bride puts ring on childhood friend at wedding. The comments section exploded. At 2 in the morning, I got a call from Lila. It rang for a long time. I didn't answer. She called again. Still no answer. When she called a third time, I picked up. She was breathing hard on the other end. Her voice more unhinged than I'd ever heard it. Raw and almost breaking. Ethan Hayes. Are you insane? You posted that video online. My parents got doxxed. And Jake's workplace got dug up. Are you happy now? Everything I posted is the truth. She went quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was lower, like she was trying to hold herself together. Delete the video. And we can talk this through properly. There's nothing to talk about. You really have to burn every bridge. Don't you? Her voice started rising again. 3 years together. And you don't care about any of it. When you put that ring on his finger, did you care about me? She went quiet. I hung up, turned my phone off, and shoved it under my pillow. A car passed by downstairs in the dark. Headlights swept across the ceiling. Bright for a second. Then gone. I closed my eyes. The scene playing over and over in my head wasn't the wedding. It was 3 years ago. When we first got together. She stood outside our apartment building holding a bouquet of sunflowers, yelling my name up at the 6th-floor window. My mom leaned out of the kitchen and said, "That girl's great." Loud voice. "Must be healthy." My dad said, "What are you talking about? A loud voice doesn't mean she's healthy." My mom said, "The donkey back in our hometown had a loud voice. Worked all morning without stopping." The look on my dad's face was priceless. Lila yelled even louder downstairs. And I laughed so hard I almost fell off the windowsill. Back then, I thought she was the one I'd spend my whole life with. When I woke up the next day, sunlight was falling right on my pillow. I grabbed my phone and turned it on. Notifications pinged nonstop for several minutes before they stopped. Over 300 unread messages. Half were people bashing Lila. Half were checking in on me. And a dozen were from Lila herself. The last one was from 4:30 a.m. Ethan Hayes. "You're gonna regret this." I stared at the text for a second. Then swiped up to find Ryan's messages. "The lawyer wants you at the firm today to sign the official retainer agreement." Also, Lila's mom texted Jake first thing this morning. Someone leaked the screenshot. A screenshot was attached. "Jake. Don't worry. Lila and that guy are done for good. Just wait until I sort this mess out. And Lila will be with you." Sent at 7:03 that morning. I saved the screenshot to my album. There were already 47 pieces of evidence in that folder. Every time I saved another, the last of my lingering feelings crumbled a little more. At 2 that afternoon, I was sitting in Liam's office. The firm was on the 26th floor of a downtown office building. Floor-to-ceiling windows looked out over the whole city skyline. Sunlight glinting off the glass. Liam slid the retainer agreement across the desk to me 3 copies. All signed by me already. He flipped through the materials, laying out text screenshots, the video, photos of the damaged jewelry, and the police report one by one. He pushed his glasses up. Right now the evidence chain is solid. First, public defamation. 600 in-person guests plus viral online reach means the impact is substantial. Second, unlawful possession. Clear value. Solid proof of time and location. Third, he paused, looking at me. "How far do you want to take this?" I thought for a second. "Get back what's mine. And make them know there are consequences for walking all over people." He nodded, turning his laptop around to show me the screen. A finished demand letter was pulled up. "Want me to read it aloud?" "Go ahead." He cleared his throat. "Regarding the public humiliation and defamation of our client at the wedding ceremony. Unlawful detention of our client's personal property and heirloom jewelry. And attempted extortion of our client. We hereby demand the following on our client's behalf. 1. Immediate return of all our client's personal belongings. 2. Compensation for emotional distress damages. 3. A public apology to remedy the harm done. All demands must be fulfilled within 7 days of receipt of this letter. Failure to comply will result in legal action. Ready to send it." "Wait," I said. I pulled our wedding invitation out of my bag. Tucked inside was a printed financial breakdown. "Add this." Liam took it, glanced over it, and raised an eyebrow. "Pre-wedding gift breakdown." "Yeah." The 50,000 cash was transferred to her account the day before the wedding. The car is in her name. But my dad paid for it in full. I have the bank statements. "You already gave her the 50,000. His brow furrowed. "Yeah. She said it would be our joint savings after the wedding. And she had a better rate on the car registration. So putting it in her name made the transfer easier." Liam took off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Mr. Hayes. Do you know what they call this kind of case in family law?" "What?" "Premarital financial fraud." He put his glasses back on, made a copy of the breakdown, and handed the original back to me. "Your case is unusual. Though. She didn't take the money and run. She actually intended to marry you. She just wanted another man to have a starring role at the wedding too." He leaned back in his chair, twirling his pen. "That's worse than straight-up fraud." I gave a small, bitter laugh. Liam added a line to the demand letter on his computer. "And full repayment of the 50,000 premarital joint savings transfer and 30,000 vehicle payment made on the recipient's behalf." Then he hit send. The second the digital demand letter went out, my phone lit up. It was Ryan calling. "Ethan. Get on Twitter. Number 8 trending. I opened the app. The 8th trending hashtag was Jake speaks out. I tapped it. Jake, the childhood friend, had posted a long thread. The attached photo was a selfie of him holding a handwritten sign that said "I'm sorry." The thread read, "I never wanted to hurt anyone. Lila and I grew up together. That ring was just a silly promise from when we were kids playing house. When she said she wanted to make good on it, I was touched because of our friendship. Nothing more. I'm sorry for what happened yesterday. But I'm hurting too. My phone number got leaked. All my coworkers saw the video. And I've had to stay home from work. Too scared to go out. Ethan. I'm apologizing to you. But please delete the video. Don't let cyberbullying hurt more innocent people." The comments were flooding in too fast to keep up. Top comment: "He's got the nerve to talk about cyberbullying. Where was this concern when he held out his hand for a ring from someone else's fiancé at their wedding?" Second top: "All the pretty words in the world. But you still had that ring on your finger in the photo." Third: "Dude, your acting skills are wasted. You should be in Hollywood." Fourth was Ryan's reply. "Just 2 words, sure. Jan." But there were also people taking his side. Some said, "He already apologized. Isn't dragging him through the mud a little much?" Others said, "The bride is the real problem here. Both guys are victims." Some wrote long analyses saying the bride was clearly cheating. And people shouldn't be targeting the friend. When I read that comment, my phone buzzed. Lila texted me, "Ethan, Jake's too scared to leave the house because of all the hate. You can hate me all you want. But can you leave him out of this? He really didn't do anything wrong." Reading that, something clicked in my head. This whole time, she'd never thought she was in the wrong. She didn't even think she'd hurt me. The only mistake she saw was that she hadn't kept things under control. That it had all blown up publicly. She didn't think humiliating her fiancé in public was wrong. She didn't think letting her mom hold my documents hostage was wrong. She didn't think her parents trying to steal our pre-wedding gift was wrong. The only wrong thing, to her, was that I hadn't just put up with it like I always did. I'd posted the video. I'd made her childhood friend upset. I leaned back in the chair in Liam's office and asked him, "If I don't delete the video, is there any legal risk for me? As long as the footage is unedited and factual." "Zero risk. It's a statement of fact. Not defamation." He saw the look on my face and added, "Same goes for all the screenshots you posted. Then leave it up." I texted Lila back, "You sound way more sincere begging for him than you ever did saying you wanted to marry me at our wedding." She didn't text back. When I left the law firm, it was still early. The sun was warm on my skin. Just a little too hot. My dad called. "Your mom made barbecue ribs. Come home for dinner." "Okay." I hung up and hailed a cab. When I gave him the address, the driver glanced at me, his eyes lingering on my face for 2 seconds. "Hey, aren't you the groom from that trending story?" It had blown up even faster than I thought. "Yeah. You did the right thing. That woman doesn't deserve you." He smacked the steering wheel, his voice so loud the windows rattled. "If my son went through something like this, I'd march right down to her family's shop and tear the place down." He ranted about Lila the whole ride, all the way across town to my building. When we got there, he even knocked $2 off the fare. "Kid, pick better next time. Hey, I got a niece if you're interested. Thanks. But I'm not looking to date right now. Fair. Fair. Take your time. No rush. Rounded down for you." My steps felt lighter going up the stairs than they had the day before. The smell of barbecue ribs drifted out through the door crack. My mom answered holding a spatula. Soy sauce splatters on her apron. "You're back. How'd it go with the lawyer?" "Sent the demand letter. We have 7 days to wait for their response." She nodded and turned back to the kitchen, stirring the pan harder than usual, the spatula clanging against the iron wok. My dad sat on the couch watching the news, volume turned low. When he saw me walk in, he set down the remote. "Got all my stuff out. The rest is just legal process. Lawyer says the evidence is solid." "Good." He nodded. Then added after a beat, "Your mom didn't sleep a wink last night. What about you?" "Didn't sleep much either." He gave a rare small smile, crinkles fanning out at the corners of his eyes. "Couldn't stop thinking about that Morgan girl owing us tens of thousands of dollars. Dinner was quiet. My mom made 4 dishes: ribs, steamed mixed vegetables, garden salad, and tomato basil soup. The 3 of us ate half what we usually would. Most of the food was left on the table. Halfway through dinner, my mom set down her chopsticks. That friend of hers, the one who posted that statement today, some people are bashing him online. Some say he's a victim too. Who cares what people say? My dad said, not looking up from his plate. I just wonder. My mom said, what he even gets out of all this. I wondered the same thing. I scrolled through Jake's Twitter profile. He didn't post much before 3 to 5 times a month. Mostly food photos, selfies, the occasional retweet from a relationship influencer. There was one photo of him with a girl. Her face fully blurred out. But her build. That gray hoodie. Those white sneakers. I knew them. It was the birthday gift I'd bought Lila. That hoodie cost over $80. I'd skipped coffee for 2 months to save up for it. I saved the photo and added it to my evidence folder. Then I turned off my phone and closed my eyes. Rain started falling in the night, tapping soft and steady against the windowsill. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. The rain had stopped. City lights glowed on the ceiling, stretching the shadow of a water stain long and thin across the drywall. The day the money came back was overcast. Liam called while I was unpacking those 5 big boxes at home. My mom was folding clothes next to me, smoothing each piece out neat, just like she did when I was a kid. Lila's team called. They agreed to a settlement. I put the phone on speaker and set it on the coffee table. How much? Full amount. $80,000. Every cent. They won't agree to emotional distress damages, though. Said if we push for that, they'll take it to trial. Liam paused. My advice is to take the win. Trials drag on forever. And there are too many unknowns. My mom froze mid-fold, the shirt still in her hands, and looked at me. I thought about it for 3 seconds. Okay. When will the money hit the account? By this afternoon. The condition is you post a statement on Twitter saying the matter's been resolved. And ask people to stop harassing the Morgan family online. Fine. I agreed easily. It wasn't that I'd suddenly softened. It was because 50 of those 1,000 were mine. And 30 were my dad's. I couldn't waste my parents' money dragging this out with someone who wasn't worth it. At 2 that afternoon, the bank deposit notification came through. My dad checked his phone, then put it back in his pocket. His expression was hard to read, not happy, not angry, just settled. He was quiet for a long time, then finally said, "All right. It's over." I posted the statement as agreed. The attached photo was a screenshot of the transfer. The caption was just one line: "The matter has been resolved. Thank you all for your concern." Comments ranged from "that's it" to "good for him for taking the high road" to "hope I never see those 2 names again." I closed the app and went to the kitchen to get my mom a glass of water. I thought that was the end of it. But I'd underestimated how long the internet remembers. After my statement went up, the conversation didn't die down. It just shifted from calling out Lila to digging up every last detail about her. The first thing to fall apart was her job. Lila worked as an operations manager at a tech company. 3 days after the video went viral, people noticed her LinkedIn had gotten tens of thousands of views. And the comments were full of hate. People DM'd her company's official accounts directly, linking the wedding video and asking if they really wanted someone like that in management. HR called her in. A former coworker told me later what HR had said. Word for word. "The company's in the middle of a funding round. We can't afford this kind of negative press. Resign voluntarily. And we'll let you keep your dignity." She refused. Said if she was leaving, it'd be a termination. And she wanted severance. HR said fine. You're fired. Grounds: gross violation of professional conduct. Material damage to company reputation. No severance. Nothing. She posted to her Instagram that day. Just one line. 6 years climbing from entry level to manager. 3 days to lose it all. The photo was her desk. All cleaned out. Nothing left but a half-dead pothose plant. I saw it. Didn't like it. Didn't comment. Just scrolled past. Then it was Jake's turn. That tearful statement of his hadn't helped his case at all. It just made people dig harder. Someone dug up his alternate account from 3 years prior. It was full of photos of him and Lila. spanning 3 years right up until February of that year. In almost every photo, his hand was on her shoulder, or wrapped around her waist. One was dated December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. The caption read, "Got my Christmas gift early this year. Thanks, Lila." In the photo, he was holding a small designer box. Logo clear as day. The room was lit warm and soft, and a hotel bed was visible in the background. The post only had a few comments back then. He'd replied to one friend. "Not my girlfriend. Just a sister I grew up with. She's the best." Once his alt account got out, he went completely silent. Twitter, Instagram, all his social media wiped clean overnight. But he hadn't deleted fast enough. Someone had screenshotted everything on that account and posted it all online, spawning a new trending hashtag. Jake's alt account. The top comment on the thread was, "He apologized. His apology was just sorry I got caught." Someone replied, "That's the best take I've seen all week." Another post came from an old friend of his, going on the record saying Jake had a history of going after girls who were already taken back in college. Comments under that said, "Total serial offender." Others said, "Why blame him? The woman's the real problem here." 5 days after Lila was fired, she called me. I hesitated, then picked up. Her voice was hoarse, almost unrecognizable, like she'd been crying, or hadn't slept in days. "Ethan, are you happy now?" I said nothing. "I lost my job. My parents can't show their faces back home. Jake's mom called and screamed at me for an hour. Said her son's life is ruined now." Her voice started to shake. "What more do you want? Tell me. What else do you want from me? When you put that ring on his finger on stage, did you ever stop to think what I might want?" The line went quiet for a long time. Long enough that I thought she'd hung up. "It was just a... Don't say it was just a joke." I cut her off. "If you think that was just a joke, then I'll tell you this. Everything that's happened to you, it's just a joke too. It's not a funny joke. Neither was mine," I said. She went quiet. In that silence, I hung up. Then I blocked her number. The most absurd thing in the world is how people who hurt others always expect the victim to be the bigger person, yet when it's their turn, they can't even handle a single word of criticism. My mom made barbecue ribs that night. Halfway through dinner, she said out of nowhere, "Heard that Lila girl lost her job." "Yeah. She earned it." My dad cut in from the side. "Eat. Don't talk about her." My mom smiled, putting a rib on my plate. "You're right. The food's getting cold." As I chewed, I suddenly remembered the first time Lila came over for dinner. 3 years ago. My mom had made ribs then too. Lila had eaten half the platter by herself, saying over and over how good it was. Back then, my mom had grinned from ear to ear the whole time. Now, when she said Lila's name, she sounded like she was talking about a stranger. No, less than a stranger. Like someone she'd never known. And never would. The wind outside lifted the sheer curtains, then let them fall. I bowed my head and ate my dinner, one bite at a time, until my bowl was empty.